Hi everyone, in this lesson we're going to learn how to talk about what time we sleep at night. Let's begin with a model dialogue. And in this dialogue, the two people are talking about their bedtime routine. As always, we will explain all the expressions in detail afterwards. What time do you go to bed? I usually go to bed around 9. How about you? I try to go to bed before midnight. Okay, so first to ask what time the other person sleeps, we can ask, what time do you go to bed? What time do you go to bed? First, we ask, what time do you? And then we can use a verb to ask what time the other person does the verb. The verb phrase in this question is, go to bed. Go to bed is a phrase that means to prepare to sleep at night. So this is when you start brushing your teeth and lying down on the bed to sleep at night. Let's practice asking this question. What time do you go to bed? What time do you go to bed? That was great, well done. Let's now take a look at how we can answer this question. I usually go to bed around 9. I usually go to bed around 9. So far in this course, we've already seen sentences similar to this. And in our response, we still use the phrase go to bed to talk about preparing to sleep at night. And to say what time we do this, we've used the preposition around. When we use around to talk about time, we're saying that we do something not exactly at this time, but near this time. So when we say I usually go to bed around 9, this may mean that I go to bed at 8:50 or 9:10. Let's take a look at some example sentences. I usually go to bed around midnight. I usually go to bed around 10. I usually go to bed late. In the last sentence, instead of saying a time we go to bed, we've used the adverb late to indicate that we go to bed at a late time at night. Okay, so let's practice saying these sentences. I usually go to bed around 9. I usually go to bed around midnight. I usually go to bed around 10. I usually go to bed late. Great effort, well done. Let's take a look at another way of saying what time we go to bed. I try to go to bed before midnight. I try to go to bed before midnight. First, we have this phrase try to. And we use this verb phrase to talk about making effort to do something. When we use try to, we're telling the other person that we make an effort to do something, but we are not always successful. This means that sometimes I go to bed before midnight, and sometimes I go to bed after midnight. Also in this sentence, we've used the preposition before with a time phrase. And we use before to talk about a time earlier than another time. And midnight means 12 a.m. So before midnight would be a time earlier than 12 a.m., such as 11 p.m. Let's take a look at a few other example sentences. I try to go to bed before 10. I try to go to bed before 9:30. I try to go to bed before 1 a.m. When we refer to a time early in the morning, we often say a.m. in our sentences. Let's practice saying these sentences. I try to go to bed before midnight. I try to go to bed before 10. I try to go to bed before 9:30. I try to go to bed before 1 a.m. Fantastic effort, well done. Now, before we do the final practice, let's listen to the whole dialogue again. What time do you go to bed? I usually go to bed around 9. How about you? I try to go to bed before midnight. Okay, so let's do a speaking practice of this dialogue. We will do 2 speaking practices so that you can practice both roles. All the lines will be on the screen, so when it's your turn, please read the line and participate in the dialogue. What time do you go to bed? I try to go to bed before midnight. I usually go to bed around 9. How about you? Excellent job today, well done. Okay, so in this lesson, we learn how to talk about what time we go to bed at night. As always, the next lesson is a speaking drill lesson, so make sure to take that lesson for more speaking practice. See you soon again. Bye bye.